the first one is because they say, well, pastors should be humble. Now, that is true. Pastors should be humble. But the first thing that I'm going to say is humility just reserved for pastors? Or should all Christians be humble? Last I checked, it's not just pastors and ministry leaders that should be humble. Every Christian should be humble. In other words, this idea of being humble and being meek is not reserved for ministry leaders, that we are not exempt either. Now, the second thing I want to say about this idea of humility is the fact that nowhere in the Bible does it connect necessarily humility to how much money you make. Because I know a lot of people who make a ton of money. They're filthy rich and you would never know it. And they are the nicest, most humble people that you'll ever meet. And then I know some people who are flat broke. All right. They're very, very poor, but they are very, very cocky and arrogant. So to suggest that because someone has a lot of money, that they are therefore not humble would not be a proper assessment. Now, the second thing that people will say with regard to ministers is that, you know what, Jesus was poor, and so therefore ministers need to be poor too, because Jesus, if you want to be like Jesus, you know, you can't have a lot of money. Once again, aren't all of us supposed to be like Jesus? Not just pastors, not just ministry leaders, but besides that, when we look at many, many other Christian leaders or people in the Bible whom God clearly had his hand on, people like Job, people like David, people like Solomon, they were very, very wealthy. And even at times, God said, you know what, if this wasn't enough, I'll give you more. And so this idea of, you know, I should be poor and that will make me more like Jesus is once again just kind of a false assumption. Third thing, preachers should not be rich because many people in their congregation are not rich. Now, for this one, this is an easy one. Listen, pastors are not responsible for the financial condition of those who follow them, because some people might be rich because they made investments, or maybe they have an inheritance, or they just made good, solid financial decisions. And other people might be poor, maybe because they did not make necessarily the best decisions with their money or whatnot. So once again, that's kind of a false one as well. So now we get to the question, is it right for a pastor to have a private jet? Now, pay attention all the way through because, like I said earlier, you're going to understand where I'm going with this video. And I want to give you three questions. The first question is, what could the benefits be for a pastor to have a private jet? Well, the first one is just that, privacy, right? So if you are a public figure where everywhere you go, people are pulling at you, they're asking you for an autograph, they want to take selfies with you, they want to have time with you, they want to ask you the 50 million questions that they've always wanted to ask you, and you know what? You just don't want to be bombarded with that all the time.